Good morning. Welcome to episode 15 of Lawyers and Libations with Sarah and Rebecca.
Good morning.
Woo.
It's morning time.
Absolutely. Good to be here.
It's always good to be drinking before lunch. Ugh.
I mean, might as well. In our line of work, it gets a little stressful in the morning.
A little dicey.
Yeah.
It does. That's generally when the angry clients start calling our opposing counsel. They're acting like assholes.
Yep. It starts early, for sure.
Yeah.
What kills me, I've got one client that only calls me at 4:55 on Fridays on my cell phone. And I'm like, I feel like this was probably an emergency before 4:55.
Yeah, it's not an emergency. Mm-mm. That's when you put that D&D on and you say, we'll talk on Monday. Thanks.
No, it's so crazy. I'm like, you can actually, number one, call the office. But number two, if it's an emergency on a Friday, you should definitely call around 9.
So I think only my most favorite clients have my cell phone because over the years it's you know more than anyone it gets abused very quickly. Again, it'll be like 7:00 on a Friday and one of your male clients has a buzz and they're like, "So Sarah, seriously though, what do you think about this? I mean, like, do you think we're gonna win? Or what do you think my case is valid?" I'm like, man, we can't be doing this on a Friday evening. Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
So
no, you're like, we're not a couple. I'm your lawyer.
yes, I'm your lawyer. We are not, in fact, a couple.
Well, I heard a really good voicemail one of our attorney friends has on his cell phone, and it basically says, "Thank you for calling. This is my cell phone. Do not leave me a message and do not text it if this has to do with work. I do not use my cell phone for work. Call the office because that's where my software is to keep track of our phone calls and conversations."
Oh.
And it's not rude, but I mean, I think that's part of why I don't like cell phones
well, yeah, because
for
they'll
work.
call you while you're driving. You can't write anything down.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You need to put that actually as your voicemail.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, you should do that. Katie would really like to put that as her voicemail, but I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, no. She gave out her number to too many people.
In fact, every single one of our clients has.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes. So, in the news, did you see that the Russian mercenary guy, Yevgeny's flight went down?
I mean, I don't know why he was shocked and even got on that flight.
Mysteriously, if you are that guy, you never look at an airplane again in your life and be like, you know what, I think I'm going to get on that. But then 9 other people were aboard the fucking thing with him.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, those people didn't get on the plane and see him on there and be like, nah, not today. I don't think I'm going to fly today with this guy. We're good. I'm going to walk. I might take a bus. I don't fucking know, but I'm not getting on that plane.
No. Like, if I were him, I would have only flown commercial in a disguise.
Yeah, like a Mr. Potato Head disguise. He should never have gotten on a plane. But what I also found to be fascinating was Putin sent his condolences.
I'm sure he did. I'm so sorry about your
We're
death.
Really upset about your loss to your family. Hugs and prayers. I think he might have said that. I don't really fucking know, but I'm like, dude, you are a blatant actual murderer. It was fascinating.
Well, and why do you even trust anything? As long as Putin's in power, I wouldn't do anything.
That's why I won't go to Russia ever. I won't ever go to Russia, and I won't go to China. I mean, maybe until things shake up a little differently in both those countries, because I don't want to go somewhere where I could absolutely, without any sort of judicial proceeding, disappear. And no one would be able to get me out. Now, granted, I wouldn't be bringing any weed residue pens or anything like that. I would be checking all of my bags a lot to make sure there was nothing in there that could be construed as legal. But any sort of extrajudicial disappearances, that's not the country I want to go visit.
No. What was that movie that came out? God, we were probably early 20s. The 2 chicks were in Thailand and the hot guy put drugs in her bag.
Oh,
it's terrifying.
Broke Down Palace.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Terrifying. I remember watching that and being like, I'm never flirting with a hot random surfer in a foreign country, and they're definitely not carrying my bags.
No. That was actually one of my favorite soundtracks in college. I love that. But, yes, that's Claire Danes.
Yep.
Scared the shit out of me, too. I'm like, well, this is why you don't go to Thailand, and you don't carry things for random
hot dudes. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yep. It sounds like a strategy by them, right? They're like...
yeah, they're like, oh, these girls are so cute. Can you carry all my cocaine? Sure.
Yeah. Anytime. It's totally fine. Totally fine. My dad will get me out of it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And is she still stuck there? Do we have any idea? It was based on a true story. I never did a follow-up investigation.
We should look. I mean, I don't want to know. What if she's going to be 60 at this point in time?
Oh, God.
That would
be
suck.
so pissed. I would be so mad because you can't even like break out of one of those prisons. You're just fucked.
No.
No.
It's terrible.
Much like the guy in Pennsylvania that is the murderer that broke out by doing some crab walk in between the buildings or something. I was like, really? That's all it took to get out? It's just doing a reverse crab walk.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Did he just do it to go under the cameras, I guess?
I don't know because they caught him on camera doing the
crab walk.
So I don't think that was it. Maybe there was like barbed wire or something. I have no idea. But it's the most absurd shit. But apparently, I guess they're finding him today.
Oh my gosh.
Or something.
Yeah.
I have no idea. The last other thing I think that's happened since we were last together is I had a lovely colonoscopy.
Oh gosh, how was
that? If you want to get
that?
skinny, get a colonoscopy because by the time when you're doing the prep, you have to chug these bottles of shit. Now, granted, I've had like 3 or 4 of these, so I've got a terrible belly, and so I probably had my first one. I had a first one in high school, so it was like, I think I was 17 years old. And you used to have to drink an entire gallon of this shit, which was, I mean, horrendously terrible, like barfing it up. Now you just have to do like these 2 little 8-ounce things. Really, you only have to do 1, to be honest, because by the time you realize you have to go to the bathroom, it's already too late. You have definitely already shit yourself by the time you're like, I should get up and go. Oh, there it went. Huh, that was fascinating. So, needless to say, I woke up 7 pounds lighter the next day, primarily, I think, because you can't really eat anything. But colonoscopies, drugs,
good
phenomenal.
ones. Oh, good.
Yes, propofol. Well, I've already told you this, that if I could date an anesthesiologist, maybe get propofol just so I could go to sleep on a regular basis. There's no other drug that I would ever need in my life because it's magical.
So what's the turnaround time post colonoscopy before you can start eating and drinking and all the fun stuff
you can eat
again?
and drink immediately.
Oh, good. So as soon as you're awake and like
yes.
back
Now
at
they
it.
say don't have any alcohol for 24 hours or something, but I had my nightly bourbon that night.
Yeah, I mean goals, right? Like
exactly.
just do the best
I mean,
you can.
like, yeah, same. But if it's been a rough day, say you've gotten like an 18-foot hose shoved up your ass, then I think you deserve a bourbon at that point in time, which is the way I felt about it. So, ta-da!
Perfect.
Yeah, anyway, it was good. So who are we having on today?
So excited. Our friend Allison Affleck. So she is a Social Security. She's so good. Yeah. She does Social Security and VA benefits work. She is at a firm called Affleck and Gordon here in Atlanta. But I think, and we'll ask her more about it, they can really help people all over the country, particularly post-COVID, with Zoom capabilities and all of those things. But it's super smart. I mean, anytime I've got a Social Security question or VA question, she's like my go-to.
She's lovely. We love our strong women. So yay! Anyway,
absolutely.
Well, we're going to be back in just a minute with Allison Affleck to talk to her. So we'll see you in a second.
Welcome back to Lawyers and Libations. We are so excited to have our friend Allison with us.
Yay, Allison.
I'm here.
Welcome,
Excited.
girl.
Thanks for having me.
It's morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
Wednesday.
is. Yes.
Wednesday.
Which, speaking of mornings, you brought a morning-friendly libation for today. What's our treat?
Okay, so we're having mimosas and muffins, a little boof
And
to
a
start
little
the day.
to start the
love
day.
that.
That is fancy. That might be
Cheers.
the fanciest,
I like
fanciest
it.
thing we've got. Yeah, this is lovely.
Well, let's pass these cups over
Wednesday.
here.
We had to kick it off on the
is.
right note. I'm here with
God,
you guys.
hump day. I'm so over hump day.
Here you go. Oh my gosh,
already
I'm so excited.
Done 2 hearings this morning, so this is my
Oh my God, look at
reward.
you.
I'm done after this.
What
I've
time
lived
do
my
your
full day.
hearings start?
So this particular judge loves a good 8 a.m. Loves
The
a good
start
8 a.m. start time. So called me at 7:50.
No,
Great.
ma'am.
Yep, I was
Nope.
up at 6 a.m. Told my husband to leave with our daughter, so there wasn't any,
Take the
excessive
child.
Brutal.
I have things
the
to
child.
do.
I've got to pay for the daycare.
That is brutal. Okay, so tell me, for your mimosas, because I've seen them different ways, do you do like half and half on your OJ, or are you just like a
So
splash
I
of
brought
OJ?
the little OJ because
Yeah,
I
was
feel like it's like
no, you do like the whole champagne and then you do
Then just a splash?
of orange.
All right, do you want to pour? Do you want me to? You pour. Yeah, you're the
I can. Yeah, let's
guest here. Move this little thing.
So I used to, a billion years ago, I was a special assistant attorney general and used to represent DFACs in Fulton County Juvenile Court in child deprivation cases, right? And court started early, and Rebecca knows this about me. I am not a morning person I don't actually even aspire to be a morning person. So it's like when I had to do early court times, I was pretty much more murderous than I am currently every day. So I don't envy you that at all.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. I will say the best thing is that COVID happened, and so all of our hearings are virtual.
Yeah.
I don't even have to have my face on.
Shut up.
No.
Oh, so just telephone.
You're not a
just
cat.
phone.
No, you're not
Yeah.
a cat.
No, I'm not.
Your Honor,
I'm
not a
sitting there.
cat.
I'm not a cat. Yes, exactly. No, I don't even have to pretend to be anything. I don't have to be dressed. I'm sipping my coffee.
Just sitting
I'm
there
on
in the
mute.
nude. Just in the
Sometimes I
nude
start
with the
talking.
coffee.
Sometimes I start talking. I'm still on mute. Nobody notices. It's fine. So yeah, so it was great.
Oh,
We
I
do a
love
little-
that.
Now the earliest we have to do is when we've got like your random doctor depot that starts at like 6 a.m. before they start doing rounds. And
You know,
when
and
that happens, I want to kill it.
They're so early. And I think they do it on purpose just so that we won't
yeah.
take their deposition. But I'm like, sometimes I need to know. And sometimes it's not to be mean that we need to depose them. We just need to help our case.
Yeah. I just needed them to confirm my
Yeah.
position.
Exactly.
So I'll get up at 6 a.m. to do that. Fine.
All right, ladies,
Sure.
let's pass out some
me that.
mimosas.
I will also say the one downside, cheers to the virtual hearings, is that
Cheers.
the clients don't fully appreciate that they're on a hearing, and so sometimes they are still in their morning routine.
Oh.
I've had clients answer, and the judge will say, "Well, where are you? Tell us about your location."
I'm on the potty.
I'm on the toilet.
I knew it.
I'm on the toilet. That was my favorite hearing. The judge said, "Why are you on the toilet?" Well, because you were calling and I was in the shower.
So I got out. Now I'm sitting
had
in the
this
buff
scheduled.
on the toilet.
Literally, yes. We've had this hearing scheduled. How long? The client's like, "Yeah, but I had to take a shower. You didn't call. You didn't call at the exact time."
Judge,
of the
Oh my
hearing.
gosh.
You did not
were late.
call me, so now I'm naked on the toilet. No. Rebecca's had depots where people have just lit up cigarettes. Like
Oh, yeah.
in the
My guy,
middle of
one of my favorite clients, we
Yeah.
were on a Zoom mediation. He was just smoking heaters. I mean,
Chief and
granted,
Heaters.
I know he's a little stressed out, but I was also like trying to argue that I want him to have a back fusion. I was just waiting for the other side to be like,
You know,
well, his
he's-
back's not going to fuse. He smoked 20 heaters today in the course of a 2-hour
P.S. We're
mediation.
going to go ahead and deny that and get the doctor to say that it's not going to heal if you continue to smoke like that. So
And that's why I will say we have the option for video, and I check the box.
You're
that
like,
says
nope.
no,
video.
thank you,
No, thank
which is
you.
good because if not, you'd have had the naked client on the toilet. Gross.
You know, I had a lady, beginning of COVID, we did a telephone mediation. And when you're in a mediation, like if you're the injured worker or really anybody, you're supposed to be alone and not be with a bunch of other people around unless you're going to disclose that they're there. She was at a hair salon. And so my mediator lost her mind and was like, where are you? And Elaine's like, I'm getting my hair done. And she was like,
Ma'am,
We're not
this
gonna
is
do this.
confidential. We're
Yeah.
not having this where you're going to have your 6 girlfriends who are also getting their hair done comment
All
on
in.
what they think the reasonable value of your
right?
case is.
Now, P.S., she was going to tell everyone immediately after the mediation at the hair salon all of the details. But I was like, the hair salon? Seriously? And I was like, well, how long? And she's like, it's about a 4-hour
Oh, for-
procedure.
oh my
I was
gosh,
like,
no.
I was so mad. I just called the other side. I was like, just tell me your top number. I don't have time
Yeah, we don't have
for the shenanigans.
no.
Well, I had a client yesterday. I called to talk about the hearing today, and he answers and says, "And right for Social Security disability, you're not working. You are disabled. You are not able to work. You're not working."
I know where this is going.
Answers the phone. I'm at work. Can I call you back? Sure.
You're like, there
like,
goes my case.
Sure.
Glad you called or answered that with me. Now we're going to discuss how you answer your phone. You don't ever answer it in front of anyone else like that, you jackwagon.
So
Yep.
then he did. So then he gets on today with the judge, and the judge says, "Have you done anything for money since October of 2020? Any
no.
jobs? Anything?"
God.
Nope.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
Allison.
This is a great hearing.
I
This
hate
is how I
that.
started my day. This
No,
is why the
no.
mimosa
Yeah.
is
You
there.
deserve a mimosa, 100%. That is really difficult when you have a client that is just bald-faced lying.
Yes.
It's so frustrating. I'm not as good at spotting a liar, but my paralegal Suzanne can spot one a mile away. And I've got a liar right now that
your
we discovered
face.
yesterday. I'm just so mad because it was like when I took this case, I was like, I will burn this insurance company to the ground. And every time a new set of medical records comes in, I'm like, seriously?
Can you share any specifics, or is it?
Well, it's a back case. But he was
Actually
adamant.
means left knee.
Yeah.
In case anyone's
That was
listening.
adamant. He'd never had any issues ever in his entire life. He had been totally fine. And literally every set of records that shows up is like back pain, back treatment,
Car
like
accident.
Yeah. I'm like,
MRI,
are you
disc
kidding
herniations.
me? I'm so mad. And he was so believable on intake. So now I'm like, just give me whatever money you have. Just give me an offer.
And if they don't, then we can just withdraw.
I don't want to try, like, because it also, like, at this point in time, it's not even worth, like, before when there was nothing there, I was like, I'm killing these
Well,
people.
and that's part of a lot of comp attorneys. You probably know a lot of workers' comp attorneys, but they'll take super shitty cases where the person is fucking lying or they are working or whatever. We don't. Like our
No.
reputation is based on the fact that like we fight when we have to. And we will fire you if you lie to us about dumb shit like that. I mean, so do you think maybe he was just like forgotten and was omitting it,
I
or
think there might be some memory issues, but what I told,
like dementia?
maybe.
Okay.
Pain
I don't know if that helps me.
Pain medication
I think,
side effects.
yeah.
medication
I think there's
side
some
effect.
there's some arguments I can make. But what I pointed out to him, and what particularly I feel like men are the worst offenders on this, is saying, hey, look, if you have prior back, it's okay. Just don't lie about it because you can have an aggravation case. What you can't have is a back injury with allegedly no prior treatment and you were at the chiro up until the week beforehand.
Yeah. No, I hate that.
So I always
tell people that all the time.
get
I'll be
super
like,
aggressive
and
about it.
Whenever they hire us, I'll be like, tell me everything.
I've started running for my clients when I'm responding to the written discovery because that's where the lies typically start, right? And so if you can cut them off before they
doing the
before
ISO search?
I do. And so then I'll call and as I'm responding to discovery, even though I'm objecting to all of the arrest history information anyway, find it's a great chance to be like, okay, it looks like you were arrested maybe 25 or 30 times. I don't know if these were
Hey,
you.
Jimbo, it looks like there's a lot of DUIs going on here.
There's
Have
some
you had rehab?
issues. Yeah. I'll be like, let's go and talk through it now instead of you lying about it later.
And other people. So I had this crazy situation where I've had multiple scenarios where husbands or jilted lovers have written statements that they've submitted and said, just want to give you the heads up.
Motherfucker's working.
Working,
No.
weeding the yard, wants to be a stay-at-home mom, all kinds of these crazy situations. And
How does the government get how do they get a hold of that?
you go on down to Social Security and you write
They
your
actually
statement and
write
they-
it? Oh my God.
Could you
what
imagine
assholes.
hating somebody that much that you're like, I'm going to ruin their social security case?
Right. And we've even gotten calls from, Sarah, you were talking earlier about, clients that'll call, both of y'all, that'll call at inappropriate times. We've had clients that'll call and leave messages saying, I just want to let you know this secret about my cousin, friend, brother, wife. And I'm like,
Just so you know, they
don't-
are working
what's happening?
on their truck last night. I saw him underneath, which means he can probably do all kinds of work and earn money.
Yeah. You're like, well, did you take a picture?
Yeah, exactly. Can you email that to
Yeah.
me?
I'm going to need some proof there.
Yeah. yeah.
People are fucking insane.
It's wild.
We've done a spot a couple times where it's like, stop killing your spouse, just get divorced, because everyone keeps fucking, like, whenever they've had multiple affairs, they continue to fucking murder their spouse by poison or drugs or something. And we're like, just get divorced,
Yeah.
man. It's okay.
Don't kill me. Just leave me.
How about the
I'll be
people that
fine.
get
Yeah.
remarried? They finally listen to you and they're like, oh, great suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm going to get divorced. And then 2 years later, remarried, we're divorced again. Just let it
I
go.
mean, it
I don't
happens.
think
Let it
I'm
go.
ever going to get divorced. I don't think I'm ever going to get married again. I think I'm going to be straight up single for the rest of my life. I'm okay with that.
I do wonder going forward if less people are going to get married. I think our kind of like generation was the last big marriage generation. Like these young kids, they're like, why would I get married?
No, they don't give a shit. They also don't really care about having kids either. Like my
No.
two youngest sisters are 34 and 32. They're both brilliant fucking lawyers. I don't see anybody getting pregnant anytime soon.
No.
I could give a shit less.
Thank God we repopulated the earth in our group.
I will
Maybe.
say, now that I have my daughter, though, of course, as we all do, I think she's the most like beautiful,
Oh, shame.
talented
Couldn't agree more.
specimen that I've ever seen. And so it is kind of crazy. Like before you have the kids and you're same, like lawyer, you're busy, you want to go out with your friends, you're traveling, and then all of a sudden you have this little kid and you're like, wow, you're actually really great.
No, there's
Like, you're really
there's nothing better. I think this is why Rebecca has 3. because she kept loving them.
I was going to say, don't have 3 of them because you actually might not feel that way anymore.
Yeah, you might not feel
The twins, so they were.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
It's just the 3rd one.
But I just have Adeline, and she is like my most favorite soul in the entire wide world. Like, I just sit there in awe and hang out with her, and I'm like, God, you're funny and smart and kind. And, it is a different type of love.
Perspective.
So when people are like, hey, do you want to go grab a drink? And there's like I was talking to Callie the other night, and she was asking me about some of my Bumble bullshit. And I was like, I match, and then I don't talk to him because I just don't have the effort to go out and do anything.
Yeah, the kids are
Just
fun.
want to hang out with Adeline, really. Like, she makes me die laughing.
Die laughing.
Laughing.
Yes.
Yeah, there is
So
nothing
Colin
better.
sings the ABCs now. She's almost 2. And my husband and I look at her like she's
Like she's perfect.
She's Albert Einstein. Yes. We're like, oh my God, look, she says the Q. What genius says the Q?
Well, you shouldn't have a boy because this morning on the way to school, George has been really bad recently. He may have gotten spanked last night. I don't know if that's appropriate anymore, but I definitely spanked him after
I
he
think
told me
it's
to.
appropriate.
He told me to F off.
Oh, wow.
Legitimately said, go fuck yourself?
Well, he said, shut your fucking mouth. I go.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, watch this, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who's getting yanked up quick?
So today on the way to school, he goes, Mom, why is there a naughty list? And I go, well, Santa needs to know he's getting bad. He goes, is it only a month that counts or is it the whole year? And I go, whole year. And he goes, Jesus just makes me do these bad things. And I go, Jesus? He blamed on Jesus. Can you imagine?
That's a manipulative little fucker right there. That's brilliant.
I go, you mean Satan? And he goes,
Nah.
No, it's definitely Jesus that's telling me to say bad words. And I was like, all right, well, I got to go. I just threw him out the door.
Have a great day.
I was like, you could be somebody else's problem now.
Good grief.
Right?
I don't know how hopefully that doesn't come back up later after school.
Oh, it'll definitely. And our au pair shows up today. I can't wait for him to tell her that Jesus makes
By
him do
the
bad
way,
things.
Jesus makes me tell you to go fuck yourself. Is that a line I can use, on people?
Probably just say, Jesus made me do it.
Yeah, I'm really
Instead of what would Jesus do?
Jesus made me do it.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's terrifying. Well, so tell us about your career and what you do. I know that primarily Social Security and VA.
Yep. So my dad founded our firm 40 years ago, and he and his partner practiced together for pretty much that whole time. So they are still great friends, and when I was leaving law school, I was kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? I wanted to be a prosecutor, and then I don't know. It just kind of fell in my lap, right? So my dad basically said, do you want to come figure this out? Because I'm
not going to do this forever.
And do you want me to teach you? And now's the time. So I said, great, let's do it. Let's learn. And it has been great. I mean, I got in there. They, at the time, actually did a lot of workers' comp. That's primarily what my dad did. And then Social Security was kind of always their consistent, just volume business. And so we kind of looked at it, and one of my really good friends from law school was doing VA, and he said, you need to look into this. It's similar to Social Security. We already have this foundation of veterans that we're working with. And so my law partner, Harry, and I just jumped in, started learning it.
He's also lovely.
He's lovely. He and I, and that's the cool part about the firm. It's a family business. My dad's partner is his stepfather.
Oh, I love that.
We didn't know each other growing up, and we make the best team. We're total opposites, and we balance each other so well, and he's just great. And I don't know, you guys know from working together, it's just great to have someone that you can bounce all of your
100%.
thoughts, all the conversation we're having right now. I can have that with Harry. It's great. So anyway, so we kind of shifted the firm, and we went away from comp, and now we're doing, I would say, half and half, probably more VA than Social Security. But it's been great. The VA has been really fun to learn. I would say, okay, so there's kind of differences in the two, right? So
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Explain the VA benefit side.
For sure.
If someone calls you and they say, I have a VA case, can you help me? What kind of typical case is that?
Yeah, so VA disability benefits.
Right.
So when you serve, when you're in active duty, or you can be in reserve, but if you have something happen during the period that you're active duty, if you have an injury that happens, and that's still a problem today, you can essentially be compensated for that injury. So I guess it's kind of similar to comp in that way, or being compensated for a specific injury. So you don't have to be, the difference is that you don't have to be out of work. You may have a disability, but if you're a 100% disabled veteran, it doesn't mean you're not working.
Right.
Most of my veterans are working full time. So it's just looking at all their
Supplemental
different
income.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is there a time frame, like, is there a statute they have to meet to file for VA, or is it just as long as they were injured while serving, they can pursue it at any time?
Yeah, so it kind of depends. So it's expanded so much in recent years, and that's why, so attorneys couldn't get paid for a long time. So people weren't doing it. And then they started withholding the fees, but the cases, it can be like a 5-year plus time period to go through that whole process. So there isn't kind of a statute like that, but you have to prove the nexus. So like for a lot of cases, someone can come tell me, oh, hey, I got out 30 years ago. I injured my back in service, but then I have to prove, you have to go back and prove what was that thing that injured your back in service. And so that can be the hard thing, is the connect.
Just finding these old records.
Yeah, finding old records, connecting them.
Well, let's see. I was marching 26 miles with a 90-pound rucksack on my back with some shitty boots. Maybe that injured my back. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Also, I jumped out of planes for 10 years.
Yeah,
Right, which totally makes sense.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then do you have to then have the supporting medical record, like from 30 years back, that shows when they first got treatment, or can you support it with current medical?
Yeah. You can find it. The VA.
Especially if you're trying to get, are you able to get medical records from the VA? Because
current ones.
We can't.
Oh my God, it's awful.
It's
so
it's legitimately Fort Knox.
Yes.
We try and do that. Well, the best is when the defense attorney tries to do it. It makes me absolutely die laughing, because we can get them a little bit more easily because we can get our client to actually go there and pick them up and stuff if they're going for their treatment. But the defense attorney will be like, well, I sent this request for production of documents to the VA. It's like,
good luck. And it's always hundreds of inches. Like it is like every time they come in, I'm like,
many
whoa.
pages. And it says the same thing 45 times.
Yeah.
It does.
How many times can I read the same thing 45 times? It's awful. But the fun part that we learned recently at this conference is that apparently when veterans are discharged, they will say, here's a box of they'll go request their records. Here's the original box of like Iron Mountain box, we all had those with all your records. Make a copy and bring it back.
Is that a joke?
I wish that was a joke.
Are they doing that now?
Yeah, they still do. Not as much now, but for old.
Make a copy.
Make a copy and please bring it back.
Yeah.
Honor system.
Yeah.
Honor system.
Yeah, no way anybody's bringing those back.
They're not bringing them back.
Because the VA doesn't want them either. Like, let's be honest. As they hand them over, they're like,
hard copy of that. Isn't it not all on like a file system?
Oh, so veterans.
You just start laughing. You're like, oh.
Well, so it is now.
Okay,
so this is like, ooh,
the
VA.
old, like 80s,
the old
90s.
Stuff, the veterans, there are clients that want to come in. They want to come in because they have
60 pounds of fucking. How'd you injure your back? Well, I was carrying my fucking medical records from the VA.
And it was aggravated.
Yeah. The letter. Now you're not eligible for Social Security.
Now you don't get Social Security. You win.
So tell me then, so we get tons of clients that we send over to you, obviously, for Social Security. And I feel like when my clients call me back and they're like, I got on Social Security, they're like 3 or 4 different types of Social Security.
Okay,
Most of the time I can't figure out what in the heck they're talking about, and then I have to call you. So can you explain the difference?
Yeah, okay. So the clients don't either. They'll call and say, I'm on this type of Social Security benefit. I'm like, are you sure?
You're like, I don't think you actually are.
Yeah, so there's lots of different ones. Retirement, right? If you're 62, you can draw early, or you can draw at your full retirement age. Or from a disability side, there's 2 disability benefits. There's SSI, SSDI. I would say biggest misconception about Social Security is that it's all welfare. It's not welfare.
No, of course
See
not.
money go out of our taxes every month in our paychecks and, go to Social Security. So SSI is the welfare disability program. SSDI is the work-based disability program. So you may be eligible for both. Most likely you're just going to be eligible for one of the 2. And I would say my favorite clients are the ones who are enraged that they're not eligible for the work-based program because they've worked their whole life. I'm like, but did you pay taxes? No.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the key.
I have
you have to have paid in.
Pay your taxes, people.
I have had multiple clients. And I'm like, okay, but let's get you on Social Security disability. And they're like, he's not eligible. I was like, what do you mean he's not eligible? He's been like a long distance, over the road truck driver for fucking 40 years. And they're like, he never paid into the system. I'm like, oh my God, dude, come on.
You saved the money at the time, and now it's coming back to.
Oh, it's awful. I hate that.
You know, and I had another guy recently who had paid in but refused to apply for Social Security because he was like, it's welfare. And I go, it's not welfare. You've literally been paying into this. And he goes, I won't do it. I will not live off of the government. And I was like, I'm not going to live off the government.
I know which client that is.
I was like, will you just accept the monthly check?
I don't understand.
It doesn't hurt your case.
It's
free money.
Yeah.
It's really not free. You paid for it.
You already paid it.
You paid in.
And then
take
the
it.
worst part is we were talking about, is there a statute? You have 5 years from when you stop working to apply.
Okay, that's good to know.
So 5 years.
I had no idea about that.
So people will come to me 10 years later. I'm like, how have you been getting by for 10 years? Well, I was in a car accident, so I lived off of that money. I was whatever. And I'm like, well,
Okay, so 5 years from date that they apply.
the date that they stop working.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you're insuring yourself.
So it's like a kind of like a
insurance
its own statute,
Well, so
if you
that's
will.
tricky,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because in workers' comp, we have 350-week cases or 400-week cases or catastrophic cases.
Yes.
Right, in
Yes.
Georgia. And so if it's a 350-week case,
It's 7 years.
that's
almost.
7 years. So if you have not applied for Social Security disability benefits within does a workers' comp receipt of temporary total disability benefits toll the statute? Holy shit, that's not good news. I've been doing this for 16 years, and I did not know that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've told all my clients to apply.
Yeah.
And because I'm like,
I tell
y'all
them
need
to.
to go ahead
Cover
and do
your
that.
CYA.
But like,
Yeah.
what?
This is very good information.
What if it's a catastrophic client? And so
here's
I'm
the
like,
thing.
no, you could just apply in like 6-7 years. Nope. You can't.
And they do. And the problem is then we have to prove it back, whatever it is. So let's say they come 7 years later. They want us to prove it back 3 years. You know how hard it is for somebody to sit in a hearing and tell somebody about their life 3 years before?
You can't. It's so hard.
Oh, it's awful.
It's so hard. And the judges sit there looking at me like, you brought me
Allison,
a DLI of
what is this?
2018. We're going back to 2018. And Harry, my partner, he has a heart of gold, and he will fight them. I mean, if it's like a legitimate case, he'll be like, Allison, I'm going to get this one. I'm going back to 2018. And I'm like, you got
do
this.
you, honey.
You got this. He's our warrior.
Yeah.
Can't do it. I'm like, I can't do it.
So one more quick question before we wrap up. Can you get VA and Social Security benefits at the same time?
Yes, you can.
Is that like the unicorn?
It kind of is.
What do you have to do?
You can have a lot. You can get you can get VA retirement. You can get VA disability, and you can get Social Security disability at the same time.
That's when you're just
You can get
loaded.
three. You're
At
literally
that point in time.
And the veterans,
might
honestly, you
get $1,500 a month.
Right? They do deserve it. Yeah. If you
Oh my
have,
God, they
yeah.
do
Some of
deserve
the
it so
stuff
much.
Some of these stories that we hear are just honestly unbelievable. But I think the thing to remember is that just because you have a disability doesn't mean you're disabled.
Right.
And so a lot of veterans, they are VA disability eligible. Like, you did have that injury. You do have PTSD from being in the military. But you're not always disabled from work to be eligible for Social Security.
Right.
And so I think there's this huge disconnect between the two. And the veterans, sometimes it's kind of a shock when they get denied for Social Security, because you think governmental disability programs, they should overlap, and they do to some extent, but I have so many veterans that 100% disabled for sure, absolutely entitled, but just not to the point where they're eligible for Social Security.
Okay. So key takeaways, you can still get VA disability and work.
Yes.
And if we think there's a chance that they can get on Social Security disability, they need to be talking to you guys
Within
Why?
within
years.
5 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead and
Like maybe start at like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it takes,
It does take a long time.
2 to 3 years sometimes.
Oh my God,
to
it
even get
takes
approved.
Yeah.
And so we'll just give you all of our records when they apply, or whenever they come to you and be like, here are the records.
So they
In
just have
paper
to
form only, though. I don't want any emails.
yeah.
I want
wants
hand delivered.
60 to 90 pound boxes.
In an Iron Mountain box. I will drive it to your office.
Please. I can't wait. I hang out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, this was so fun. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for coming and wonderful information. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Cheers, ladies. This was so fun.
Cheers.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you for coming, Allison.
Woo. See you next time at Lawyers and Libations. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.